the 20-year-old's 8th consecutive overall victory and puts him in position to clinch the 2010 450 title today at Southwick. Ryan Dungey is rewriting the record book as he carves his name among the greatest competitors in the sport's history. He comes to Moto X 338 next on the doorstep of history, right here on Speed. From historic Moto X 338 in Massachusetts, it's the Rockstar Energy Drink Southwick National, round 10 of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. And this first moto, one of the wildest races we've seen in quite some time. Banging bars off the start. Andrew Short, who had the last gate pick, gets squeezed out. He's mid-pack on the outside. But two other Hondas are up front. It's Ben Townley and Brett Metcalfe, and then Townley runs into Metcalfe and goes down, handing Metcalfe a nice, solid lead. And things would go from bad to worse for Townley. Here he hooks up with Short literally at mid-pack, and they go off the track together. Townley stalls his bike. Short took a lot longer, as you can see, to get up. He would have to recover from about 29th place. So Brett Metcalfe is in the lead. Here comes Ryan Dungey. But unlike every race we've seen the last couple of months, Metcalfe was able to weather the Dungey storm. He has the moto win in hand until now. On the last lap, he runs out of fuel. The bike goes to a stop. Dungey there in the yellow number 5's in the lead, and he takes the moto win. And also with this bad luck for Short, who would also have bike problems on the final lap, Ryan Dungey is going to end up taking your championship. There's Metcalfe, and that says it all. He had that moto win in hand. Ryan Dungey wins the moto and the championship. Unbelievable. And after that first moto, you see Dungey is the event points leader heading into our second moto today. He's going to try to lock down another overall victory. And wild day already. Hello everyone, Jason Wygant and Jeff Emming here from Southwick. Ryan Dungey has already done the deed. He has wrapped up the championship after a crazy first moto, Jeff.
Ryan Dungey once again just kept plugging away all the way to the end, takes the moto win and the championship. And if you think about where this young man has, where he was at when he started in January through Supercross into AMA Motocross now, the only rookie to ever win the premier titles in their rookie season, that puts him way up in the list of the all-time greats. I think it's a really special moment what he's done.
Well, you see he's way up in the list of points as well. You've still got Short and Metcalfe, even after the bad luck at Moto 1, battling for second in this series. For more on our champion, let's head down to the third member of our broadcast team, Aaron Bates, with a progressive pre-race report.
That's right, you guys. We just witnessed history in the making. Ryan, have you had a moment to let all of this sink in?
It's kind of hard, you know, just with everything, another race, try to take it, stick to the game plan, I think is key at this point. But really pumped for just the whole team and everybody who has got me this far. So try to keep pushing for more.
All the pressure is off your shoulders as you line up for Moto number 2. Would you consider that that victory, your championship, is your team manager Roger DeCoster's birthday present?
Pretty much, yeah. It's Rod's birthday today, so happy birthday to him. Glad we could pull that one off. So, and overall, it would be nice too for him. So let's try to keep pushing for more.
Congratulations on your championship.
Well, a lot of people expected Ryan Dungey to be strong in his rookie year in the 450 class, but maybe not this strong. Supercross and motocross championships. No one has ever done it in their very first season on the big bikes. So Ryan Dungey takes a place in history that not even the all-time greats can rival him in. And he's got more racing left this year, and we'll see it from Southwick.
And now I'll turn it over.
Welcome back to Southwick. Fans are in the pits getting ready for this second moto at the historic Motocross 338. But it's time to get to the fences, folks, because we're going to go racing. How does it work? Well, let's give you the 411 on motocross. We run 2 motos every weekend in Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Racing. 1 is in the books. Moto 2 is coming up next. Each race lasts 30 minutes and 2 laps, and we'll total the scores from each to determine an overall winner for the day. That's the format. Now let's check out the track that we're going to be racing on here, Jeff.
Well, here we are at Southwick, Massachusetts, and the track is the sand track. Over the years, it's been a little less sandy, a little more hard base. That's the thing that the riders have commented on, especially this year, is that underneath that the ground's pretty hard. Overall, the track is extremely rough and brutal. It takes a lot of physical fitness, you know, to get around this track. You really have to know how to ride the sand and manage the bumps and keep your momentum through the turns, and that's the key.
All right, we know it's going to change a lot throughout this day. Now, one thing doesn't change here, though. John Dowd, Massachusetts native, 22 times now he's raced here. Give us the keys to the race for the veteran.
Well, for John Dowd, he needs a little better start than what he got last time. And I do believe that in this moto, riding some of those outside big rail sand berms, his local knowledge of knowing what the track is like at this time of day is going to, you know, play to his advantage. And of course, the fan support. If he's up there in the top 3, you're going to see these New Englanders are going to be going crazy for number 16.
That's your Rocky Mountain ATV MC keys to the race for John Dowd. He was shuffling, battling for a top 10 in Moto number 1. He hopes for better in Moto 2. Let's see if guys like Short, Metcalfe, Townley can get some revenge here. Let's go racing. And I think Alessi is down, going into the first turn, and at a pile-up, Dowd's in it. Trying to figure out some of the other riders. Stephen Clark on the 43 is in that pile as well.
The 261, the 597, and another rider that was just went by on the inside. He was down.
I don't think that was Alessi. That was
bars.
another, yeah, that was a different KTM rider. So this is what they call a yard sale down here. Ben Townley into the lead over Ryan Dungey and Kevin Windham in the number 3 spot.
Well, and Ben Townley had such a frustrating first moto where he ran second, actually clipped the back of Metcalfe, as you saw.
Oh, Andrew Short. It just keeps getting worse for him today, Jeff.
Unbelievable. Now, he had the far outside gate. The reason he had the far outside gate, well, let's take a look at the replay here of Andrew Short.
Yeah, this is going to be a progressive
See him way on the right-hand side there, and he some riders go down in front of him.
Wow.
And he goes down, and actually to his left, there was another rider that went down, but you can see Andrew hit the ground and couldn't get his foot out from under there. So as Ben Townley leads, it's just really frustrating for Andrew Short, who was second in points leading into this event.
But explain what happened to Short in practice today. It's been a horrible day.
Yeah, so real quick, first lap of practice, something's wrong with the bike. He brings it in, does not qualify. The track was smooth and fast. Second practice, the track was much slower lap time. He goes out for second practice, does not qualify in the top 40.
Yep. Due
to the rules, because he's top 10 in points, he gets the lineup 40th. That's why he had the outside gate, even though he did not even qualify in the top 40. That's the Short story.
On Short. Ben Townley, who was up front early in the first moto, is up front again. And I did misspeak. That is Mike Alessi on the KTM in 4th. He did not go down. There was another KTM rider on the inside that did go down. Alessi kept it upright. And we're looking all over the place. Where is the 24 Brett Metcalfe? Don't see him.
Well,
here we go.
Yeah, and as they complete lap 1 here, there's your new champ, Ryan Dungey. You did have a chance to speak with Ben Townley in between motos.
I can't really say what he said. He was a little frustrated. Crashed while battling for the lead, crashed again while coming through traffic, and eventually didn't finish the moto. So Townley is fired up for this one, and he's pulling away from Dungey. Oh, Dowd. More problems after the first turn crash.
And he was way off the side of the track there.
Oh, he's bummed.
Has to be something mechanical there with the bike, and you can see a little bit of frustration just in his body language there. That looks like the day here for John Dowd is pretty much going to be over.
Well, and the fans are cheering. Yeah, he's frustrated, but they're going to give him a little victory lap here.
Oh yeah, the bike is cutting out real bad. He was revving it there, and frustrating way to end Moto 2 here so quickly. But what fan support?
You see him kind of raising his hands. Nothing I can do. I can't race, guys. But he does accomplish one goal. He scores enough points in Moto 1. He can keep that national number 16 for another year. I believe that's a record. He's had a number since 1989. He has been ranked in the top 100 of AMA Motocross.
Well, Ben Townley, number 101, he's trying to get down into the top 100.
He doesn't really care. He's 101 no matter what. He's earned his way in there. He just chooses to run 101. So Townley's in the lead. Let's see if all that fire he had before this moto pays off with a moto victory. Here he is.
Yeah, and it's coming into these switchbacks here, so you see just how rough this track gets going down through there. You make a left and a right and a left and a right, and it's difficult as the track gets rough to try to find smooth lines, but also define lines that, you know, can keep your momentum. And not to mention, now that the sun's starting to go down a little bit, you see now the shadows come into play. And sometimes when the soil's wet like that, it's really hard to miss those deep holes.
Now, down the privateer, he's got some of his buddies working his bike. That's Kenny Germain working, but also some of the Kawasaki factory folks coming over to help out.
Rick Ash, who engine builder at Monster Energy Kawasaki, built engines for myself, for John Dowd when he was on the team.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out
Dowd, he's out of the points at this point and not going to score a good finish, but he just wants to go and put in some laps.
The guys from Chaplin Kawasaki and all of his other sponsors, they're going to be happy. He's a legend.
How about Ben Townley? He is pulling away from Ryan Dungey, and yes, both motos count, so Townley has no shot at the overall. Dungey would only need to finish second to win this thing. Oh, no! Wow! How did he stay on the bike?
That was old school. That was like
flying W.
That was a flying W, yeah. How about it? and really hasn't lost any time. He carried more momentum. Chose a better line on the outside because of it. Way to go, Ben Townley.
Meant to do that.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I was going to get at is Dungey would have the overall, but it really doesn't matter. If you're Ben Townley, you just want to win a darn moto. You're not even thinking about any of the rest of this stuff. Just win one of these things. He's been so close so many times.
Well, and it's going to be hard to beat because Dungey, you know, it hasn't really ridden with a lot of pressure, it doesn't seem like, at least not lately. But you got to remember, this guy's dialed in. I mean, Dungey is the strongest, fastest rider out there. And, you know, he doesn't want to give up a moto just because he's won the championship. You just stay on it, you know?
Yeah.
You just, 97 when I wrapped up the championship, one race from the end, I went to Steel City and no pressure, but just felt like winning there too.
Just keep it going. Once you got
you just don't know how to do anything except that. So we'll see if Ben Townley can, you know, pressure Dungey, you know, make him ride faster than what he wants to ride at this point.
Kevin Windham hanging tough in third, and Windham admits he is far from a sand specialist. Said earlier today, as far as I'm concerned, when you hang out in the sand, you should be on the beach, not on the motocross track.
Yeah.
But right now, Windham's in third. There is Dungey. He is beginning to close in on Townley a bit, but they're all just exchanging mistakes on this track, Jeff, and also the lines are going to change, so it's a little more dynamic than another track where you can gain and lose time.
Well, yeah, but let's put it into perspective. You know, qualifying times were a whole lot different. Earlier today, it was down into 150s. Now it's up around 203.
Right, so they're almost 10 seconds off of where they were in practice when the track was smooth. Let's see if Townley can finally get that moto victory. He's holding off Dungey. Speed at 8 on Stealth Rider. Jason Brayton takes motorcycle stunting to a new level. Then at 10, two different war machines share a common goal on intersections. It's all new this Wednesday, beginning at 8 Eastern, only on Speed. Got a race on our hands at Southwick. Mike Alessi is in fourth, and Matt Durkee, who you might remember won this race in a huge upset last year. Yes, he won the overall with 6-1 scores. Sixth in Moto 1 again this year.
Wow, look at that line. It was like a mile longer way outside there. But, hey, Durkee's been off with injury, and now he's back once again running inside the top 10. And just absolutely flying here today. And you can say that Mike Alessi is really putting it together again also. And
Dungey's putting it together. Yeah, he has closed up big time on Ben Townley. Townley stands up a lot. Jeff, talk about that on a sand track. Is that a good form and style to carry into this facility?
Well, when you look at the bumps that are out there, and now especially at this point in the moto, we're starting to see those big, deep rollers with the, you know, big, tall rollers with the deep holes that you have to wheelie the bike through. There's just no way that you're going to ride the speed and sit down. Right there's a big hole right there, too.
Dungey's closing the gap. We're going to have a race. Townley is not going to make it easy on him. He has come so close so many times to a moto victory this season. So this is going to be a good battle. And we have Aaron down with John Dowd. Aaron, what's happening?
A disappointing moto for John Dowd. John, this isn't exactly the day you had planned. What exactly took place out there?
Well, I got tangled up in the first turn, and I don't know, knocked some wires loose under the shroud here, and the bike, it keeps kind of cutting out. It's running, and then it's kind of stopping, and I figured I'd go ride anyways if it would keep running, but it's getting kind of hairy. I mean, I'm going along, and all of a sudden the motor cuts out. So, I mean, I don't know. I think that's going to be the day for me, unfortunately, but part of racing, right?
Bummer for you, but the fans are always excited to see you back. Thank you so much.
Well, for the 22nd time, we can say wait till next year.
No, he'll be back.
He'll be back. Absolutely. So Dungey is closing the gap on Townley as Kenny G goes to work on down spot. They're still working on it, and Dungey's still working on the lead.
Catching some roost right here, but I'll tell you, there's some big incentive here for Ben Townley if he could nail this win here. Here we go. This is going to be the pass for the lead.
Townley's really going to have to step it up around the outside. He can't. Dungey's got the #1 position.
When it's your time, it's just your time. You know, you just are so focused and the bike's dialed in, and it's just, it's hard to beat a guy in this position. I mean, he just does everything right.
I was going to ask about that line that Townley took, Jeff. How much of a byproduct is how much this track is changing, and you got to switch from what was working maybe on the outside earlier to the inside. Talk about this track specifically in sand.
Yeah, well, it seems like that there's a few lines here and there that you know, maybe seems like the outside should be the best line to be able to rail around the outside, but for some reason, even though the riders complained about, not complained, but you know, said that the track was hard pack underneath, you really have been able to cut some of those corners short and take the shorter line rather than the faster, line railing around the outside.
Kevin Windham's still in third.
Now, pretty good third right now. I mean, he's only 5 seconds off of the lead right now.
Remember when Windham returned to this series, he's riding the injured Davi Millsaps bike. We talked to him in Millville, and he said, I said before that you'd have to pay me $1 million before I came back to race the sand at Southwick again. They did not give him $1 million. It's a nice little bonus program. But he's racing nonetheless. And still watching this battle for fourth with Alessi and Gerke. Alessi hanging tough.
As you see these riders go through this extremely rough section here of sand that they've got 17 minutes plus 2 laps. By the end of this race, your legs, your low back especially, shoulders, your forearms gonna have to hold onto the bike as you hit those big G outs, and this is when the body is maybe the sorest, okay? Because this track is just so physical, so difficult for the riders.
So Gerke rejuvenated here as he is in the top 5 for missing most of the series with a broken leg. Missed Supercross also, but he certainly has some great memories of this track when he won in a huge upset 365 days ago. Here's Matt Gerke.
I missed my gate pick, so I had to start all the way outside, last gate pick. And I just got the best jump I ever got out of the gate. And just pinned it around the outside and came out like 6th or 7th or something on the start. Got into 2nd, and then Reed went down, and then I was in 1st, and I was like, holy crap. I knew I won the moto. That's all I cared about at the time. I didn't know what I got overall. I didn't even think about that. And then I pulled up by the podium, and my dad was there. He's like, I think you won the overall. And then I seen my bike up there on the podium, and I was like, holy crap, this is awesome. It felt great. So I've been working for that my whole life. It felt awesome to actually do it.
And there was some history there. He was riding as a replacement rider for Josh Hill on Factory Yamaha that day. And Factory Yamaha did not return to racing this year. So that will be the last ever, I assume, victory in the great history of that race team that you won some races for.
Yeah, that's pretty special. And his mechanic that day was Bob Oliver, actually the guy that builds the engines.
Yeah.
There, so yeah, it was a pretty cool day. Bittersweet also. My good friend Michael Byrne was tied for first that day in points, in overall points, and ended up 2nd. But he was tied for first.
And not to mention Chad Reed there, who had a nice lead and threw it away. So let's see if Gerke can turn the magic again, trying to close the gap on Alessi. It has been such a crazy day here at Southwick. You have to keep watching this, folks, because the way it turned out in Moto 1, well, it just sets the stage in Moto 2. Look at all the stuff that has gone down, even early in this moto. Crashes, mechanical trouble, Metcalfe having problems again. What a wild day. Win the overall, it will be 9 straight. That would tie the rookie record for wins in a season. Ricky Carmichael also won the championship as a rookie in this class 10 years ago, and he won 9 races, but not in a row. Dungey wins 1 more. We have 2 races after this, and Steel City and Paula will break that record. The records are falling quickly for this guy.
Pretty impressive, and I tell you, he just handles it like a seasoned veteran. He doesn't look like a rookie. He doesn't ride like a rookie. He doesn't carry himself like a rookie. He's a champion, and right now, what he has accomplished today has, in my mind, put him way up on that champions list to be able to do what he's done, and it definitely a bright future. But he'll be tested in the future. There'll be guys that are on lights bikes right now that are going to come up and want to take what he has. There's guys that are on the sideline like Villopoto, Stewart, Reed, champions like that that are going to want a piece of it. And so this championship that he's won this year, to the casual fan here, kind of seems like that he's done it pretty easy, but there's been a lot of hard work that has gone into that. The team knows that, everybody on the inside. But next year, to duplicate it, to repeat it, is going to be much harder. So enjoy this one while you have it. Rack up those wins, and that's why when at the end of these stats here, at the end of his career, if he just decided not to even ride this race hard and gave up an overall, who knows what that could mean for the stats. So just like Mike Gossler talked about in the first moto, he says, look, we just take it moto by moto. That's what we've been doing all year. That's what we're doing now. We'll worry about the championship and think about that later, or maybe when we go home this week, we'll let it sink in. But right now, we got to do our job, and our job is to go win the moto.
Well, I was talking to you earlier today, and you touched on something. When you're as young as Dungey, you've had this much success this quickly. You're saying sometimes the records are almost lost on you. It's just coming so quickly you're not even able to internalize.
Yeah, well, I don't really think that it's till your career, till you start to see some light at the end of the tunnel, and then he's going to look back and see some of his accomplishments and go, wow, that, and think back to how hard, because you're so in the moment now, you're not processing it like that.
Man, he is riding really well on a rough racetrack. Well, you got to be good and lucky to win this championship, and no doubt there have been a few good luck moments for Dungey. It looked like Brett Metcalfe might have had him handled. This is our GEICO moment of the race. This is Moto 1. Metcalfe in the lead, half lap to go. He raised his hand because he ran out of gas, and he didn't want Dungey to run into him. Metcalfe's done. Unbelievable, Jeff. And there it is. That would be enough with that Moto win for Dungey to clinch the title. That's your GEICO moment. So that's kind of a microcosm of the way this season has gone. Dungey's put himself in a good position and then seems to be able to take advantage of some misfortune for others. And
that's the deal, is he has done all the hard work. He's dedicated. The team has done their work. They've put a fantastic motorcycle under him that has not broken, hasn't given up on him at all in any way, shape, or form. And they've just kind of gone out quietly and done what they had to do. And now look what they're doing. They're just, each and every race, they just demolish the competition. They just have such a comprehensive program, all the way through. It's just, but he's going to need that. He's going to need that in the future to defend the titles.
Here's a battle, Jeff. Third place. Wyndham takes a look over his shoulder. That's Mike Alessi. Alessi third in Moto 1. He wants to put that KTM up on the podium. It's been a long time for Alessi.
Well, in Wyndham here, you see him riding, trying to be real fluid and manage the race well, not really riding too out of control. But
Gerke's right there.
Yeah, Mike Alessi throwing it down because he's got all the pressure from Gerke. And we know Gerke at this place, he is not afraid to let it hang out. He feels good in the sand. And he's got some great lines. That's the last thing that a veteran like Kevin Wyndham wants. He wants to just quietly go about his business here. But he's going to be tested right now. He's going to have to dig deep if he wants to keep third.
Look at, you talk about the lines. They are all over this track. Inside, outside, all three able to go different directions.
Yeah, well, Gerke's like in 8th gear sometimes on the outside, He's not afraid to ride the high line, that's for sure.
Man, he picked the middle. Here comes Alessi, putting the challenge to Wyndham. And he puts the 350 next to him. They almost come together. Alessi into the number 3 spot.
Wow, Alessi came through there and just faded a little further to the right than what Wyndham expected.
And Gerke's going to try to follow him through. Here's that 8th gear. Jeff just goes the long way.
There it is.
Oh!
Shifting to 9th.
Makes the pass. So Alessi on one hand is pumped because he's into 3rd, but how long is it going to last? Gerke is going to keep the heat on. And Wyndham, you said he wants to go quietly back to business, so maybe now I'll just turn that top 3 into a top 5. These two are animals right now, third and fourth.
Oh yeah, they're driven right now. These guys are battling it out here. 8 minutes plus 2 laps left. The track is just treacherous out there. The holes are deep. The shadows are starting to form. It's going to be tough because the body will be weak at the end of this moto.
Oh, wow. Alessi just able to score it away as Gerke makes a mistake. You got a feeling that this battle is not over yet. It's for a podium, so there's definitely some motivation for these guys. We're not too far away from beautiful Hartford, Connecticut, just over the state line here at Southwick, Massachusetts. What a great weekend we have had just outside the Basketball Hall of Fame. Stay tuned. Well, when you come to Southwick, we expect drama. Now we got more. Tommy Hahn, who had a podium in Moto 1, is out of Moto 2. Aaron?
That's right, guys. Podium Moto number 1. Devastation here for Moto number 2. What exactly went on? You've got a mechanical failure.
My clutch just burned up. The bike wouldn't go anymore. It just smelled so bad. I was riding so good and making so many good passes after having a bad start. I'm so pissed. That's another podium gone. I'm sorry I said that word.
It happens in situations like these. A tough day for the number 10 of Tommy Hahn.
Unfortunately, Hahn is getting practice with those heartbreaking speeches. Remember, he had a problem with the front wheel, I believe, in Millville when he had a podium opportunity. He was in 6th in this moto after finishing 2nd in Moto 1.
Well, and Tommy Hahn's high on my list of riders to acquire for the race teams. And what's difficult is in what's going to be a really challenging contract season for a lot of riders. There's a lot of talented riders that don't have contracts yet for next year, and so as you're trying to earn that spot, and then you can't complete that, complete the day, it's frustrating.
And his team, that Rockstar Suzuki team, is going to be the factory Suzuki 250 team next year, and they're not sure if they're going to have a 450 spot for Tommy, even though he's obviously earned it. So unfortunately, he might be on the free agent block as well, as are so many other great riders. Brett Metcalfe, Andrew Short, who are 2nd and 3rd in this series, are still looking for a ride next year. That's the lead that Ryan Dungey has. Now, Ben Townley, when we were at break, Mike Alessi and Matt Gerke were putting the heat on him. Yeah, now he's stabilized it.
Yeah, like I said, he turned that 223, so possibly that he went down, but now he's wicked it back up at 207, running the same, or actually the fastest lap last time around, 207.6 to Dungey's 207.9, and Gerke was at 208 and Alessi at 211. So Gerke here.
Gerke's gotten Alessi, Jeff. So Gerke is up to the number 3 spot, and he's just not going to let Townley go. And running out of time, but keep the heat on.
Well, and as this 3rd place right now, I mean, he had the 6th in the first moto. Townley was out. Outside of Dungey, if he wins this moto and, something happens with Dungey, he's going to win the overall again.
Stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. Let's check in with Brett Metcalfe. Justice not served, as we said, after running out of gas leading Moto 1. Crashes early here in Moto 2, but as always, he never gives up. He has fought back to 8th place. The results are not going to show you how well he rode this weekend.
And they're not going to show the effort that he has put out, because he was in the Moto 1, he was so close. He managed the race so well mentally, and he just didn't make any mistakes, and everything was going perfect, and then he has the mechanical. Now this moto, he's been on the ground, and what this is showing, see, he started 5th, was up to 34th, and now back up to 8th after being in 34th.
Unreal.
And that wasn't necessarily off the start. That was a few laps in. Okay, so massive effort here, and it's just going to be so frustrating when the day was going so well. And that's part of it. That's part of being a racer, and at times you have those days.
It will pay off in one way, though. He finishes 8th. He scored 13 points for that. He was 13 points behind Short before they started this moto. Short's out. So Metcalfe should be tied for 2nd in the series. Even if he stays in this spot, easier said than done.
Well, and looking at it, he's 8th. Ryan Sipes is 7th, and so he's just a few seconds behind him, like 9 seconds.
He's safe unless he goes down. And by the way, they did put an even larger gas tank. They had an oversized gas tank on the bike in Moto 1. They put an even bigger one on it for Moto 2, so no fears there. Ryan Dungey just continues to roll. Amazing what this guy has done. Once he got that first championship in Supercross 250 West, last year he has won every title he has competed for, including a Motocross of Nations trophy, which was really his first outdoor race ever on a 450, really set the stage for this great season here. So Dungey pulling away Townley, Gerke, Alessi, Wyndham in the top 5. There are some hardcore motocross fans out here at Southwick. We love coming here to MX338. The King of Supercross was inducted into the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America a few days ago. And that's motorsports. We're talking some of the all-time greats of racing. Dale Earnhardt and Mario Andretti are in there, and now Jeremy McGrath as well. You ever race that guy? You ever race Jeremy McGrath?
A couple times, yeah. And he certainly earned that spot with all those Supercross wins, Motocross Championship in there. Definitely a legend of the sport.
Yeah, some good battles with you. And Jeff Ward and Bob Hanna are the only other motocrossers in there. Andrew Short, hey, he got back on the track. He's now been lapped by Dungey. Short is doing anything he can to get points, and would you believe this? Short is up to the number 20 position. So even though he's a lap down, Dungey has lapped half of the field. That would give Short 1 point. And every point counts in that battle for second. Metcalfe has moved from 8th to 7th. So he picked up a point. Short's gotten the 20th. He's picked up a point. They're still tied. Tied for second.
Interesting.
They're making it very difficult on the map today. Thanks, guys.
Well, it's a battle. I mean, those two, racers have just been going at it, and they're just digging deep. I mean, obviously the 5 is clinched the title and all that, but there's still bragging rights for those positions, and it's that's the confidence builder leading into next season.
Bragging rights, and also we can take a nice bonus compared to finishing second or third if you're Andrew Short. That could be a little, sure, there's a little motivation there. Now remember, this is back-to-back coverage, part of 2 hours here on Speed. We'll have the 250 class coming up right after this, so don't go anywhere. That's a championship fight down to the wire, we expect, with Trey Canard closing the gap on Christophe Porcel, so that's going to be good. Not quite as much championship drama here. This is a virtuoso performance for Ryan Dungey. He will take the #1 plate after this race.
Yeah, he's got a huge lead, 27 seconds this moto. And, it's just interesting what this team has done. And I think that it really goes back to the decision that Roger DeCoster and everybody at Suzuki made to bring Ricky Carmichael on board. As I remember it, Ricky Carmichael had a little bit to do with vouching for a young Ryan Dungey, who even as connected as I am with the sport, Dungey kind of slipped through the cracks, as an amateur, and all of a sudden he became a factory rider on a 250 bike. And I'm like, wait a second, where's the kid from? Who is he?
Yeah.
And along the way, he had some big mistakes. And he learned some hard lessons. But since then, like you were saying, since that 250 Supercross title, he's just listened to what everyone had to say. He's done all the hard work. He's self-motivated. Doesn't have a trainer that tells him what to do. He just positioned himself with the right people around him, whether it's his parents, his friends, the race team. Obviously, Suzuki was smart enough to say, hey, we're going to put you with Mike Gosselaar. Okay. And so there's been a lot of good decisions made, and a lot of riders have the opportunity. Not all riders take advantage of it. Dungey has taken advantage of this wonderful opportunity. And now, in my mind, he's the best rider in the world. And it seemed like it happened pretty quick.
Yeah, I don't think anyone expected, like you said, you go back to January, we said at the top of the show, that he would end up with both these titles and be going from number 5 to number 1. And here's an interesting footnote for this team. They won the title last year at Chad Reed. The last time the team won this title back-to-back years with 2 different riders. You have to go all the way back to 1993, 1994. Team Kawasaki had Mike Kudrowski win the championship and then Mike LaRocco the next year. So you got to go back 16 years for a team to have 2 different riders win a title. So that really says a lot about the bike, the team. The talent changes, but the result does not.
It's just a big effort, and it's being a team, one of the team members, whether you're the chassis guy, engine guy, one of the techs that help work on the test bikes. Once you start winning, and that team is infected with the winning ways, you don't want to let that go. And I've been there. I've been in that situation as a rider, and I see how it influences all of the people behind the scenes that do all the hard work, to the guys that take down the canopies and clean stuff, and the truck driver, and people at the race shop, and your friends and family. And once you get it, you try to hold on to that for as long as you can, okay? And you try to keep doing the same things and get better and better. And I believe that's what Ryan Dungey's going to do. He's just going to keep getting better.
Andrew Short is shadowing, by the way, the whole time, because Dungey's on cruise control. He's got a nice lead. So Short just following him around. And this is the victory celebration, essentially. This is it.
This is it. AMA will present him with the #1 plate shortly.
Ryan Dungey, we mentioned at the top of the show, no rookie has ever won both championships in the same year, and he does it. Ryan Dungey wins Southwick and officially the 450 class champion of Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross for 2010. 20 years old. The sky is the limit, but I think he's actually just reached that.
Now that this moto is over, this is when they get a chance. See, there was no celebrating after the first moto because he still had another moto. Now, great job, Ryan Dungey. Way to go.
Ben Townley just crossed the line in second. Kirky going to hold on for third. Now, when he won the title in Supercross a couple races early, he said immediately he's going to go focus on motocross, but they got an off season now. Focus on this, celebrating.
Now, does he have sand in his eyes, or is he actually letting a little emotion come out there, right? Is it?
We don't know. That's usually not his specialty. But
look at that. Chris Onstop from Fox Racing, the #1 jersey.
And there's the man, literally. They call him the man, Roger DeCoster. He's brought another title to Suzuki. He won a whole bunch of them for that team when he was a rider, and now he's brought more to them as a team manager. And the fans, I think, have been won over as well.
I'm feeling it right now. I'm kind of getting a little choked up right now. That's what it's all about, is this moment. And it was cool that after that first moto, he just, hey, business as usual. And then now you let it, just let it all come out.
Well, we will celebrate with Ryan Dungey on the podium as they hand over the championship and the #1 plate when we come back. He has done it. We'll give you the full lowdown on what Ryan Dungey feels like now that the weight is off his shoulders. Stay with us here from Southwick. History in the making.
When it's time to get ready to ride and you need gear, it's
come easy. Ryan Dungey finally nailed that elusive championship in Supercross Lights West last year. And then he went on an amazing roll. He won the 250 Motocross Championship a year ago. Just a few weeks later, they threw him on a big bike and he brought home the Chamberlain Trophy for Team USA as part of the Motocross of Nations alongside Jake Weimer and Ivan Tedesco. And he kept riding that 450 all the way to a Supercross Championship in May. And the momentum, it couldn't stop it outdoors. He is champion again. That's 5 straight big trophies for this kid. And we're going to talk to him on the podium in just a moment. Unbelievable run, and we can't understate. This guy is only 20 years old. So he's got a long way to go. All right, here are the points. You'll see the insurmountable margin that Dungey has, even though we have 100 points available with 4 motos left on the season, and Short just staying ahead of Metcalfe for second in the series. Aaron Bates will be on the podium in just a moment as they hand over the #1 plate to Ryan Dungey. Townley, Alessi, great racing inside that top 5, but Dungey is the man of the hour. We'll send it down to Aaron Bates as Ryan Dungey accepts his first ever 450 Motocross Championship.
And now let's go live down to the podium from Speed TV's Aaron Bates.
Ryan Dungey has accomplished the unthinkable, clinching both the 2010 AMA Supercross and then today the AMA Motocross. To present the honors of the #1 plate is AMA's Race Director Competition Motocross, Roy Jansen.
Well, thank you, Aaron. Ryan, Southwick's been pretty good to you. It was the place where you turned around last year and the place where you clinched your first 450 championship. On behalf of MX Sports and the millions of fans who are watching from around the world, it's my pleasure and honor to be able to present you with your first #1 plate. Congratulations.
Ryan, you've achieved all of your goals at 20 years old. What do you set your sights on now, and what's going to keep you motivated?
To keep going. You know, it's a long road, but you know, I'm looking forward to the future. You know, I guess I just got to thank everybody, you know, from you know, the man above to my family, Team Rockstar, Mickey Suzuki, and it takes a lot of people to make this happen, you know, and it's just a moment to take it all in, and it's very special. But all the hard work, everything, Mom, Dad, from there, Pete Fox, Beaker from Fox, Oakley, Anthony Paggio, and Hedgie, and Nike, and all you fans. It's special I could do it out in front of here.
In your opinion, why did you have so much success in the 450 class opposed to the 250 class?
Just driven, you know. I really put my head down and work hard, and try to one day want to be the best, you know. So just always got to keep pushing and never settling, and nothing's ever enough.
Congratulations on all your dreams coming true here at Southwick.
Number 1 again, the first time ever on the big bike outdoors. It was a crazy day of racing that's going to go down in the history books as the one where Ryan Dungey clinched the championship. More from Southwick next. Southwick, and boy, were they treated to a show today. And we will show you that show in brief with our Lucas Oil race recap. Well, you know it's crazy when riders are going down just a few feet out of the gate, and then a big first turn crash, Jeff.
Yeah, and it was most notably Andrew Short down, coming down the start straight, and then John Dowd, local favorite, goes down in this first turn pilot. But watch on the lower part of your screen, that's Andrew Short, second in points.
He would get up from that, finish 17th. Then Brett Metcalfe goes down, his bike gets run over. He would finish 7th. Those guys were digging deep. Then Ben Townley had the lead early on the 101, but here comes Ryan Dungey.
Well, what he's done all year long is he has just completely dominated.
Second motos especially, and he takes the moto win, the overall victory today, and with that, the championship for 2010. Virtuoso performance, again, from Ryan Dungey. So the fans are down there to soak it up. Here is the overall results. Mike Alessi putting the KTM 350 on the podium for the first time this year since the opener at Hangtown. Nice bounce back. Aaron, on the podium.
They consider this track survival of the fittest, and Mike Alessi, you had just dominated out there today. What was it about this track that made you excel?
You know, I've just been working hard the last couple weeks. You know, been running, swimming, been working hard, and it definitely shows, you know, and came out here, had a fantastic race, got second overall. I feel really happy right now. You know, it's been a pretty disappointing season, you know, considering, but just want to thank Jägermeister, KTM, all my family, all the fans out there for supporting me, you know, when I've been down. Thanks again.
Let's check out the progressive whole shot replay here. This year, those have not gone to Mike Alessi, but he still got on the podium. Let's show you what did happen.
Yeah, well, focus on the left of your screen also. Short goes down, Ryder's down in there, but you see the Ryder's just sliding in. Such a difficult first turn.
Let's go down to Aaron again on the podium.
Matt Gerke took his first career victory here last year. You're back up on the podium again, third place. How excited are you to be back up here after an injured season?
Feels great. I've been out for so long, and I just couldn't have done it. I thank my team, Moto Concepts, Yamaha, my fiance Erin, my mom, my dad, Gary Bucher, Shane Yagan, Keith Olridge, all the people that have helped me get here. Just thanks a lot for having faith in me, and it's awesome to get on the podium my first race back after being out all year.
All right, Moto Concepts gets a bunch of riders in there. Chisholm rode well today as well. Here's your Toyota moving forward schedule. 2 races left. We'll be near Pittsburgh and San Diego, Steel City Impala. Come join us. For Aaron Bates and Jeff Emig, I'm Jason Wygant. Congratulations to our new champion, Ryan Dungey. Thanks for watching.